Well, hello, children, fans and friends, New Age Revolution. Jason up down here in the cave. With a video that I wasn't even sure I was going to make, because it's not what we're usually talking about here. I mean, we are talking about the good old days of the 80s. But you know, honestly, those days that we talk about so fondly are observed through the eyes of children and are discussed through the memories of adults who lived them as children. I guess the point is, how do we know that we were okay back then as a people? There's a couple of reasons I'm bringing this topic up. I want to know today's people. What have we become? Where did we go wrong as a people? And were we ever really that great as a people? Okay, hear me out. Hear me out. Now this video is going to have a little bit of cursing, okay? A little bit of cursing. There's a couple words here that I'm going to use to hammer home the point, okay? I'm driving along today and I see a sticker on a car. Now back in the 80s, we had these baby on board stickers, okay? Remember them? I'm not going to pull any pictures up, but remember them? They were yellow, street sign style, and they had a little sucky rubber thing on there, and you pinned it to your window, and it used to say baby on board. Remember the baby on board craze of the 80s? Right? As if you're driving along and somebody who's going to plow into you is a little extra careful because they see that sign that says baby on board. Well, today I'm driving, and I'm behind a vehicle that has that same sticker, that same plastic suction cup, whatever, tag on their car. And it doesn't say baby on board. No, indeed, it says baby up in this bitch. Okay, there's curse number one. The sticker in 2022 says baby up in this bitch. And as I drove, I just wondered, why? You know, why have we fallen as a society? Why has our class level dropped so far that we feel like it's okay to put a tag on our car that says baby up in this bitch? That's not all. That's not all. And again, least political channel on the YouTube. Okay, I don't care what side of the fence you're on. I don't care what side of the fence I'm on. I don't care. Okay? What I do care about, though, is that I have to drive through town and see massive flags that are hanging from people's homes that say F Joe Biden. And some of them say F *** Joe Biden. And some of them have the word, the holy grail of curse words, the F *** word written out. Okay? Why is that okay? Now, I don't care if you like Joe Biden. I don't care if you hate Joe Biden. But when did it become okay for us to be such a vulgar society? When did it become okay for us to hang that flag in our front yards, basically screaming, my class level is dropping, folks. Here's a flag that says, I'm not the classiest person in the world. I don't care about my neighbors. I don't care about the school bus that drives by. I just want you to know where I stand politically. Okay? Another example of the same. And this infuriated me. And this is what makes me again wonder, what has happened to us? Or were we always a mess? And I'll get to the always a mess part in a minute. We went, what did we have to do? I think there was like a rummage sale at a church in town the other day. And so picture this if you can. The church, you pull into the church. Church has a big parking lot, and right next to the church parking lot is a tract of homes, right? And one of the homes' backyard butts right up against the church parking lot. In fact, there's a fence that I assume the church put up that separates the homes from the parking lot. And there, a person who lives in one of those homes took one of those F. Joe Biden flags. This one spells it out completely. Tacked it to a piece of plywood, and then attached maybe 2x4s to the plywood so that it stood up. And he propped it up against the fence that faces the church parking lot, maybe zip tied it to the fence, so that everybody pulling into their Sunday church service gets to see this guy's sign screaming into the church parking lot. Now, again, I ask, why? Why? You know, who have we become? Why is it okay? Why do we feel like it's okay to drive around with a baby up in this bitch sticker on our car? Why is it okay to have these, awfully vulgar political statements hanging from our home, where our grandchildren come to play, where our children come to play, where the neighborhood children have to walk by every morning on their school bus? Why? Why is that vulgarity so acceptable? Why have we degraded as a human? Or have we? Okay, at one point in time, television had a little bit of censorship to it, right? There were certain words that you could not say on television. And I think those rules have relaxed a little bit because, again, here's where we're going to curse again, so take the children out of the room. I believe now the word shit has been allowed on television. And AEW Wrestling has really capitalized on that. Because every single episode of AEW Wrestling, a wrestler during his promo has to drop a shit reference. Okay? And to the point where it's almost like, this is over the top. You know, you're just kind of going out of your way to say the word. It's so stupid, it's ridiculous. Here's another curse word. I believe asshole has been allowed on television as well. Okay, so let's talk from that. All right? Am I just a big baby? Am I just a snowflake, as the cool people say? Or have we degraded as a society? Why can't some things be protected? Why can't some levels of class be maintained? All right? Is it just this country? Is it the rest of the world? Do we have this problem in the UK? Do we have this problem in Canada? I don't know. I'm asking. Have we always been this way? The other night I watched a documentary called The Acid King. Very good documentary. It's set in the 80s, 1982 I think, 1983. A kid, Richard Casso, murdered a 17-year-old. Richard Casso murdered his 17-year-old friend. And maybe they were 18. I'm not sure. Murdered him and pretty much began the whole devil worshipping fear / craze of the early 80s with, heavy metal music and AC/DC and band, Ozzy Osbourne, that devil music or messages were being subliminally, added to these records, play them backwards, whatever. I don't know. Devil worship craze of the 80s. I think it was more acid and mescaline and drugs like that, PCP, that might have created these murderous rages. But as I'm watching the show, they're showing actual interviews from the 17-year-old high school students of this particular town. It was Long Island. And the kids are awful on tape. You know, they're vulgar, they're F-bombing everything. They're just awful kids. You know, they're horrible kids. And then they would interview current people who lived in that town during this murder, and the current people were talking about how terrified they were as a kid of these older kids, and how they were just ruthless, and how they would just wreak havoc all throughout town. We weren't any better back then, were we? I mean, I'm sure we had less vulgarity back then. There certainly weren't any F. Jimmy Carter flags hanging from people's houses. There was no "baby up in this bitch" tag on your car. There weren't T-shirts that screamed vulgarities that you just proudly walk through the halls, you know, of whatever, that you proudly wear. Were we just as classless back then? Or is it an individual thing? Is it person by person? You know, do some families still maintain the class and dignity that we once had or never had? I don't know. So again, what do you all think of this? Again, remember, this isn't about politics. I don't know Joe Biden. I don't know Donald Trump. I don't care about either one of them. I couldn't care less, right? I don't care. Right? I don't care that abortion was overturned. I don't care if it wasn't overturned. It doesn't matter to me. It doesn't affect my life. If it affects my life, I'll make a decision about it. What's best for my home. I'm trying not to tell everybody else what to do. Okay? So remember, I don't care. So this isn't about politics. This isn't about Republicans and Democrats and Donald Trump. It's about, where do we get the classlessness to hang this flag from our home where our grandchildren are playing kickball. I say grandchildren because this one particular house that I'm thinking of has a little old man that lives there. You know, 60s or 70s, whatever. Does he not have grandchildren? Does he not care that there might be children in the neighborhood? Right? When did we become such a classless society? That's a big one. That's a big one. I might lose some people here. I get it. But I'm just frustrated today. The "baby up in this bitch" tag on a car just frustrated me. My kid can read, you know. My kid's not innocent. He curses around the house. We're all cursing. We're all potty mouths around this house. I don't have snowflake children. I'm not a snow. But, you know, when my kid goes, what a stupid sign. Why would somebody put that on their car? I'm like, because we all suck, dude. We've just fallen. Anyway, give me your thoughts. Tell me I'm a big baby. I don't know. Whatever. Why are we okay with this? Anyway, that's it. I'm not editing, so I'm getting up. All right. Leave the comments. I'll see y'all later.